And turning now to all this talk about a possible ground invasion in Iraq also is raising concerns as officials in the Trump administration are talking with Kurdish leaders about arming Kurds in the north part of the country so they can also attack the regime. The United States has a long history of working with Kurdish fighters dating back over half a century. When in the 1970s, President Nixon worked with then Shah of Iran to secretly arm Kurdish rebels through the CIA. Joining us now is adjunct fellow at the Washington Institute, Michael Knights. Michael, thank you so much for being with us. That part of history is a lot messier than a lot of people realize, from the coup to the Shah to the Iranian Revolution to now. But where do the Kurds stand in all of this today? They still don't have a state. What could we see from the north?
Well, thank you for having me. Around 10% of Iranians are Kurds. And that's about a quarter of the non-Persian ethnic minorities in the country. Around 40% of people in Iran are not Persians. They come from the various ethnic minorities around the edges. And the Kurds are one of the biggest groups. They're, of course, spread across Iraq, Syria, and Turkey as well. But the Iranian Kurds are amongst the most suppressed of any Kurdish population in the world. So there's a possibility that their resistance groups could find support from the US, from Israel, or could rise up on their own at this time when the regime is getting weaker.
And it looks like Iran has already announced officially that they were bombing some of the Kurdish positions. Is there unity among the Kurds? I mean, there are Iranian Kurds, there are Iraqi Kurds, there are Syrian Kurds, right? Is everyone on the same page?
No, they're not on the same page. They're quite distinct groups of people, even though they the publics tend to want to support each other. And they're very far away from each other, and they're quite separated often by significant mountain ranges. But the Iranian Kurds and the Iraqi Kurds are quite closely connected. And the concern for Iraqi Kurdistan is that Iran is going to blame the Iraqi Kurds if some kind of uprising begins in Iranian Kurdistan. And in the past, the Iranians have fired ballistic missiles and rockets into Iraqi Kurdistan to punish the Iraqi Kurds for basing some of these Iranian Kurdish separatists.
If there are three-letter agencies talking to the Kurds right now, other than weapons and money, what do you think the United States could be offering them for help in some sort of ground operation?
Well, if you remember, at the end of the 1991 war, US Special Forces supported the Iraqi Kurds as they broke away from Saddam Hussein. And then in 2003, again, US Special Forces based out of Iraqi Kurdistan to help liberate northern Iraq from Saddam Hussein during that war. So there's a possibility that the Iranian Kurds will provide basing to US Special Forces and possibly even Israeli Special Forces, who would support them with air power, planning, and intelligence.
Michael Knights, really appreciate all of your insight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.